everybody. I wanted to make a video about the new dowel jig that Jessem has come out with. It is a stainless steel dowel jig as compared with their larger version that they had, their original one. And some people may be wondering what the difference is between the original versus the new one, and we're going to go over that really quick. So, what you see here is you got the two jigs, and these are the boxes that they come in. I went on ahead and got the Weekend Hobbyist kit that they have. Just to give you an idea, that kit is $130, and it has the quarter inch, the half inch, and the 3/8 kit with it, and it also has a little wall hanger. And the original dowel jig that you see behind it, well, let's see, the Weekend Hobbyist package was $129 for that kit, and it was another $30 to ship it here. And that larger jig in the back, I went to Woodcraft in Raleigh and picked that up, and that, what you see there, I think was $160 for that. And so if you're wondering about differences, I mean, if you know, obviously this isn't, you know, what would you call it, unboxing video, but it comes with your instructions, kind of showing you how to use it. And it comes with these guys in the box here, and of course it comes with the plate that goes with it. All right, so there are no drill bits that are included with this. For this guy here, I went to Lowe's and got these impact bits, so I could use them with my impact gun instead of my normal drill bit. I just find that it's just I like the impact for this better than your regular key chuck bits. So this kit comes with a drill bit, and if you look, way bigger. Only comes with 3/8 kit. You have your bit, which comes with your shaft collar, and it's a pretty long bit. And part of the reason is, if you look, you've got all this spacing here, you know, that's there for that bit to work, you know, with your dowels and the way that the spacing works. But like, if you look really quickly between the two of them, I want you to see, like, look at this one. It'll probably be even better too. Look at the two of these. Like, look at the size difference between the two of these. I want to tell you, with this jig works absolutely fantastic. It's a fantastic tool. The only thing that really bothered me about this tool is it was huge, and honestly, I felt when I was doing dowel jigs that it's kind of heavy. It's kind of hard to hold up onto here, but with this one, I got it. It's good to go. It's not very heavy at all. You know, it's a lot easier to hold on to and work with for things I got to do. That being said, between the two of them, you probably got a little bit more clamping area with this than versus this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dowel jig with both of these in the 3/8, and we're going to check and see how accurate they got it. I'm kind of curious to see if this spacing on this new jig is the same spacing on this jig. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't think that it is. Well, we'll try it and see what happens. It would be really cool if they like made it up with one another like perfectly for each jig. And so yeah, you'll see where I'm going with that. My preference when doing this tool, the way that I like to do it, more than half the time I do not take advantage of the center line feature that is on this tool. What I like to do is I like to take the jig and just sneak it up to the edge, and then I like to drill my holes. So I'm about to drill a few holes in this really quickly to see what kind of joint we get. So if anybody is wanting to know like how to set the depth of gauge for this, it's really simple. Kind of twist this part off, and then you loosen this knob in the center. And from here, it's going to be a little loose inside the tool. But what you do is, for this setup, I think I'm going to go, two hash marks there. I think when I looked at it a second ago, that's kind of what I got. as a good frame of reference. And then it's really difficult to do this and hold on to it at the same time, so I'll just give you another quick recording. So really quickly, I'm going to kind of go over what boards that I'm using to use with each set of this jigs here. So this board here, I'm going to use this guy here and put into here. This guy here, I'm going to put that in this board, you know, so you can see what it is. And then I am going to put some dowel holes in this piece right here, and then I'm going to probably go to the end right over there where it tapers off, where the angle is, where I put the miter in that board. I'm going to put another set. So this guy over here, I'm going to put here, and then this guy over here, I'm going to put here on the edge. Okay, so that way you guys get an idea of kind of exactly what I've done. I would use a pencil to make that delineation, but I can't seem to find one in the shop at the current moment, so that'll work for the time being. Do it on camera, but I lock these wedges in. As you can see, they kind of lock in here, and then after that, once you get that, you just take it, turn that thumb screw and lock that in place. So the difference between these two guys is with this one, you'll take it and you'll loosen it here, and there's wedges in the back of it. So you can see, I'll take it off really quickly so you can kind of look at it and get a good idea of what's going on. You can take it off, and there's wedges there, and then there's these wedges here. So between the two of them, this one is probably, you know, if you're doing like a ton of stuff, those wedges and how they stay locked in place is probably going to be way more important. But let's see, I think that's it right there. I think that is the same measurement, because like if you look at it with what I'm looking at, you're looking at between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. The adjustment on this is well, it's kind of finer. I think what you can do too is if we look, like that's kind of in between. Well, no, it's stuck. It's stuck by the delineations of what those are at. So I have less adjustability with this bigger jig, which is something that I did not realize till just now. So yeah, you have more freedom of adjustability with this jig as far as spacing on the inside. But it is indexed to these markers, but you have more index markers that you can. So when I'm doing this, the way that I like to do my pieces is I like to get the edge flush here on this edge, and the edge flush here on this edge. Like when you do that, it's indexed perfectly, and you don't have to. You don't necessarily have to measure where your dowels are every single time. So like your corresponding piece, like as long as you know, you can work off the end of any edge of a board as long as you know, as long as you have the jig the right side up. When you go to the next board, you can put it over there without having to do any measurement, and the board will join up perfectly. Really, really handy trick to do it. Outside using the center line on the back. But for like most pieces for this cabinet door, it's way better and way faster. Drilled my first hole. A little trick that I like to do with this guy is I like to put that dowel pin in that first piece. Even with that clamp there, what that'll do is that'll ensure that that jig kind of stays exactly where you need it. You don't have to do that, but it is a handy trick. So let's say you don't want to, let's say you're like third over and you're like doing a series of holes. Like you could put that dowel pin in that like center hole, and then it will hold the jig without you needing to use the clamp after that. So you could use that dowel pin and then like have a dowel on the end of it, and it works like phenomenal. So one difference I'm seeing right here is like if you look, I've got, hold on, I can't get my finger in the, so like if you look, my finger is up next to this board where it's flush up against this plate right here. On this one, this plate and that plate are flush in the reference the same. It's just a little easier to reference your board when you're trying to put it in. Really quick, this is like the kind of thing I'm talking about. So like when you clamp this down on this jig, like it'll actually turn, it has a tendency to turn a little bit easier on this bigger guy because it's harder to hold that piece up against there when you're clamping it down. Okay, so I'm like way too bright. So my guess that the spacing on these was the same is not exactly 100% correct, spot on. However, if you look at these holes, on the offset between the two jigs. When they made these dowel jigs, they did the space in between each of these jigs, from what I can tell, is exactly the same. So kudos off to them for that. If you can figure what the offset is on it, it could, you might be able to use it in some sort of jigs. You're gonna have to measure for the edge offset. And just as a refresher, what I'm talking about when I say the edge offset, I'm just talking about where this reference point is to here and here from the edge of this board. I'm stuck on it. Excuse me. So the reference point to the edge of the board where you've got both of them like this, flush up against here. Between each of these jigs, I think the difference is about 1/8 of an inch off that edge. So it offsets everything up, 1/8 of an inch between them. Would have been really cool if they made that where the offset was exactly the same between both tools. Okay, really quickly, one thing is you can use shaft collars with this drill bit kit on this when you're doing this. For this particular deal, like, as you can see, I know that my drill bit is only going to go so far down. And I've got about so much clearance. I mean, if this was like a real piece or something that I was working on, I would go on ahead and I would go on ahead and use the shaft collar for consistent results. But you don't have to use the shaft collars with this tool to get it to work. Okay. So like one thing too, right while I'm thinking about it, for anybody that has ever used dowels to like do any type of joinery, it is not advised that you put glue in these dowels. What'll happen is it'll cause like a vacuum pinch, and you can actually blow out the bottom of the wood. It makes the two pieces almost impossible to get together. What you could do is like you could drill like a hole through the top of this board, like right here, to make airway for those dowels. And then you could get away with putting glues on the dowels, but it's something you would have to do in order to have that. Really quickly. So, like, I put these dowel pins in here, and I discovered that they just were not long enough in this hole. What's cool about this jig is once you drill the holes with the kit, if you've discovered that you can't go deep enough, you could just take this drill bit, and you could go right through here, and that hole will drill perfect once you've started it with the tool. So, yeah, no big deal if your dowel is, not quite right when you're setting. I'm about to test fit my joint. Since we determined that that there was an offset between the two tools, we will not need to do the test that I was referring to. Okay. So you notice here that there's a little bit of an offset. Okay, so I just put these two together. And as you can see, that is a very tight joint that's on there. It's, pretty close to like flawless. Now, you can see a gap here because these boards, it has been a long time since I've worked with this lumber. So like one face is like perfect and it's flushing. And you may have remembered me even saying that the reference surface, you just got to make sure you don't get the tool backwards when you do it. Well, I got the tool backwards, so like when I put it on there, if you can see, it's offset a little bit because the tool's turned around the wrong way. But it still worked like it was supposed to. Now here's the thing too. What's awesome about this jig is if you need to do offsets like that, you could put offsets in it. But yeah, the tool worked exactly how it was supposed to work. Like that joint, the biggest thing is like if you look at it from like here to here, that joiner is like really, really tight, and it's like not coming out of there. I mean, I just made a small mistake with what I was doing, and I'm not going to reshoot it for the video. The biggest thing about it was just kind of to show you the differences. While I'm at it, we are going to do another real quick difference that you can see. When we're looking at both of these, you've got these two holes here. And then you have these two holes here. What you can do is you could set up jigging to help do these guys a little bit more consistently. It's kind of what that's for. If you see the center line is just marked on the back. This is laser etched in here. Now, on this one, the biggest thing is you got a couple of laser. You got a center point at the bottom. Like if you look here, that is the center point there. You even have a little thing where you can scribe a line. And you've also got these guys on the edge. You've got these divots in there, and what those are for is to help you do a center line with whatever you're marking, and then you can also scribe a line with your pencil using that. So yeah, hopefully what I've got here will help some of y'all. If you're looking to get one of these jigs, honestly, I'd say that guy's probably way better between the two of them. And I only say that because this one is not so doggone heavy. So if you've got like 100 of these that you need to drill and you're using the tool, this would be way less hassle on your hands. Now, on an unrelated note, I would tell anybody if these are great if you cannot afford to get a domino joiner. And I've used a domino joiner, and I'm going to tell you, I would say get that domino joiner and use it all day long. It's just faster. What's cool about this, though, is you might be in a situation where electricity goes out and you need to do some joinery. You can do your joinery with this, or with the damn domino joiner, you can't do that. You know, you would have to wait till service is restored or have some sort of generator. So this is quieter. If anybody doesn't like power tools, this is also a really good way to go. But like I say, I hope this helps anybody in their purchase decision that they need to make for these two tools.